Okay, today we're going to look at basics for Excel. So this is a spreadsheet. This is the basic look and feel of Excel. And spreadsheets are made out of columns, which are vertical, and rows, which are horizontal. Columns are known by letters. For example, this is column B, this would be column C, column D. And rows are known by their letters. So this is column or row 4, this is row 5. And then the cells are the intersections between the rows and the columns. So for example, this cell here with door would be cell B5, and this one would be B8. And you can tell which cell you're in by which column and which row are highlighted. So for a basic Excel sheet, you can have 3 different types of input in each cell. You can have just letters or labels. So for example, name of job. You could have just numbers or constants. Here is 45. And you can have mathematical formulas. For example, here, even though this looks like it's just another number, what it really is an equation, which you can see at the top of the screen here, that sums the cost of all 3 cells above it. So those are the basic contents that you can put in each of the cells. So what we're going to do now is replicate this spreadsheet, because this is one of the basic abilities of Excel. So here we go. I'm going to create a new workbook by pressing Apple N. So you can see it's just a completely blank screen, and I've got this old one behind it. So now I'm going to go about replicating my work here. So first of all, I like to zoom in. And here we go. So I know that I need to do name of job. Name of job. Now notice I clicked and I typed in the cell, but really when you click it on a cell, the text appears at the top of the page in this little formula bar. And if you want to go in and edit a cell, you should always edit at the top of the page in the formula bar, not in the actual cell. See what happens. If I click the cell and start typing, it automatically erases whatever was in that cell. So I undo Apple Z and it's back again. So instead of doing that, I go up to the top of the page and I can click just to add another letter or a space instead of erasing everything in the cell. So here I have my labels set up, and I'd like to bold them. So the command for that is Apple B. Now you can see what happened here. The name of jobs column has gotten cut off. So what I'll do is come up to the top where the columns are, and my cursor turns into a little arrow. And I can just click and drag to expand the column width so that my label doesn't get cut off. And I can continue adding. Now if you remember, in my old spreadsheet I had these dollar signs, and those actually came up automatically when you changed the type of cell. So make sure that your formatting palette is up. The formatting palette is this little box that can be hidden. So if it's not on your screen, there's a few different ways you can find it. You can either click View, Formatting Palette, and it'll come up. Or you can click on Toolbox right from the top of your screen. So to change the type of cell, you can click the cell, click Number, and then click the Format to Accounting, and it'll automatically put a dollar sign in your cell. So I'm going to do the same for these last two. I'm going to click one and Command click the other so that both are selected, and then I click Format Accounting, and it adds the dollar signs for me. So I have one more to go, total, and I want to bold it, so I select the cell and I do Apple B. And now I want to put in this formula so that I don't have to do the math myself. So to do this, you start every formula with an equal sign. So type equals, And there's a few different ways you can do this. You can click on each cell. So when you start a box with an equal sign, automatically you're in formula mode, so you need to be careful where you click. Notice if I click on the cell with $45 in it, it puts in cell C5, because remember that's at the intersection with C and 5. So that's the label for that particular cell. If I then do plus, I can click on another cell, C6, which corresponds to $34, and I can do plus and do the same thing for the last cost for the floor. So now I have the cell C5 plus C6 plus C7, and that will add all of the costs together if I press enter or return. And you can see there it puts in $100 for me. So another way you could do that, I'm just going to backspace out of that. If you backspace, it'll delete all of your previous formula. So now if I click on that cell, you see there's nothing here at the top in the formula bar because that cell is empty because I backspaced. So I click again. The other way you can do it, which is easier and will save you from clicking each individual cell, is to start typing with an equal sign again. So see how my cursor changes to a little square or a cross? That means that I'm in formula mode. So what I can do is click or type sum and then do parentheses, and I can click and drag over the cells that I'd like to add. So now it says C5 colon C7. So it's going to add C5, C6, and C7 together. So I close the parentheses and I press enter, and there you go. There's $100 total cost. So these are the basic skills that you need to master to be able to use Excel. In the next video, we will work with the formatting palette and how we can change the contents of cells.